not been before this honorable panel. Neither is he represented.
No, complainant. Complainant. Bala Muhammad. He has, it's represented by Heritage Law Firm.
Yes, my lord.
Complainant absent.
Complainants.
Counsel absent.
Yes, my lord, and they are duly set.
No, just a minute. Complainant and counsel absent.
Absent, yes, my lord.
What of the respondents?
Respondent absent.
Absent. Respondent and counsel absent. And you are
Olawale Afolabi, my lord.
for
If this is honorable court, my lord, Olawale Afolabi.
for
For the commissioner and the panel.
Okay.
Counsel for the commissioner and the panel. And with me, my lord,
no, your name for
Afolabi.
Afolabi
Yes, my
Olawale.
lord. Olawale. Holding the brief of Chinoye Obiagu.
Not in the same place.
My lord.
Holding the brief.
From the second.
Holding the brief of Chino.
Chinoye Obiagu.
Yes. That's for the commission.
With me, my lord,
Yes.
is Mrs. Odundi Boko.
Respondents.
Respondents, my lord, absent. The respondent is put on notice to appear before this honorable panel on the 16th of November.
Respondents. The hearing notice for the complainant was fixed for today.
Yes, my lord.
For today. Again, what we'll do here is to ask him to places her complaint, that we'll hear her complaint.
That's
If
okay,
you
ma'am.
got,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
you,
That's okay.
if you want, you may lead her.
All right.
If you want, so that she doesn't go astray, she don't go too long making a narration that are not unnecessary. Not ego to Chinoni.
Igwe Tuchine.
Mrs.
Yes, sir. Miss Igwe Tuchine.
You recall that you sent a complaint before this honorable panel.
Yes, please.
How will you recognize this complaint? If you are shown this complaint, will you be able to recognize it?
Yes, please.
How?
Because I wrote it by myself and I have a copy here with me.
When was it written, please?
It was written on the 27th of October. On the 27th of October.
Have you seen that the commission the same date?
Yes, please.
I urge my Lord to show the complaint to the complainant, my Lord. The original complaint. Yes, my Lord, in this circumstance, the complainant has correctly identified the complaints and all other annexures. Yes, my Lord.
So the photocopy sent to the commission.
Yes, we have attachment, my Lord. Certificate of death as an electron of. We have medical certificate of cause of death.
No, go by what you have here.
We have a petition written by the law firm of Samfield Associates.
The person for police location.
Yes, my Lord.
From Simple.
Yes, Simple Associates.
Yes.
Vice and solicitor requesting for police investigations and prosecution.
Yes.
My Lord, we have compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshot bill. 2017 also attached.
The second document is
Compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshot bill.
in our after something. The next document is National Medical Certificate of Cause of Death.
We also have it as the third annex of the law, issued by the National Hospital. Medical Certificate of Cause of Death.
Answer. The first document we have is request for police investigation and prosecution. The second one is compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshot bill.
Yes, my Lord. 2017. Yes, my Lord.
The third one.
The third one is Medical Certificate of Death, Cause of Death, issued by National Hospital Abuja.
When date? Issued on the
6th of July, my Lord, 2018.
yes. The fourth one.
Outsource Global, final clearance letter, my Lord, issued by Outsource Global.
What is that letter?
That is informing the NYSC about the satisfactory completion of service year.
You call it final clearance.
Yes, my Lord.
Clearance.
It dated 2nd July 2018.
Yes. Then
Also, my Lord,
the
we have another letter dated 16th day of July 2018
from
Simfield Associates, addressed to the Registrar, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, requesting for investigation of professional misconduct of the Gariki Hospital. My Lord, also attached as annexure,
Yes.
warrant to bury Corona Form 23, dated 11th day of July, 2018.
Yes.
And lastly, my Lord, we have letter of acknowledgement dated 27th day of October 2020, issued by the National Human Rights Commission, acknowledging the receipt of complaint of extrajudicial claim
(27th October).
Yes, my Lord. 27th October 2020.
Yes. Joshua. Afolabi.
Yes, my Lord.
Yes.
If my Lord be pleased,
Yes.
the complainant shall be adopting
She says she is the one she had. She has already done that. What do you want to do with the documents now?
will be asking my Lord to accept this.
You seek
I seek my Lord's permission
to
that
tender,
them
them.
be tender as exhibit before this honorable panel. That's our own application.
The complainant's letter of 20th October 2020 and the 7 documents annexed thereto are admitted as exhibits A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H respectively. The complainant who is in court is allowed to highlight her complaints.
We are most grateful, my Lord.
Highlight her complaint. You mark this one.
Briefly, I'd like to
Around 10 p.m. I got a WhatsApp message from my sister because I live here in Abuja, I work here, my parents are in Lagos, so she worked she worked her service here, like she came to stay with me for a period of 1 year, and she got a job with Outsource Global as a place of primary assignment. And on the 3rd of July 2018, that was a date to her passed out parade from NYSC at 10 a.m. because she works what they do at Outsource is it's a customer service outfit, so they actually pick calls for international organizations. So she goes to work at 1 p.m. and closes at 11 American time. So she sent me a message at 10 to say she's almost done from work, but she was going to go out from work to go and have drinks with her friends and colleagues to celebrate her passing out. I was already in bed, so I replied, I'm like, who? She told me Mr. Toby and Arafat. I know Toby, but I don't know Arafat very well. So I was like, oh, okay, no problem. No wahala. She has her own key. She lets herself in, so I slept off. At about 2 a.m., I woke up to pee, and she wasn't beside me. Usually when I wake up, I see her beside me. Like, that's how it's been for the past 1 year. So she wasn't beside me. I was like, is it that, why is she not home yet? I tried to reach her, she wasn't picking her calls. I don't have Toby's number, so I was worried, and then I laid down, I slept off with my phone in my hand. At about 4:30, I got a call. Immediately I woke up, I just knew something was wrong when I still didn't see her. It was an unknown number, so I picked up, it was Mr. Toby. And he was like, please, can you come to Gariki Hospital right now? Something happened. So I panicked, and then my neighbor, Miss Maureen, at the time, she's mobile, so immediately I screamed. So she stood up immediately too, and said she couldn't sleep. She was just worried too, all through the night. So we drove to Gariki Hospital, and immediately I got there, a lot of policemen were outside. I was like, what happened? I saw there was a pool of blood everywhere on the floor at the entrance of Gariki Hospital. I saw Toby drenched in blood. So I was like, what's going on? What happened? He was in handcuffs. So I was asking him, what happened? What's going on here? So he said he couldn't answer because of course he was in shock. So one policewoman there, I think she was DPO at that FCT command, she took me aside and was like, am I the sister too? I was like, yes. She was like, something happened, I have to be strong. I'm like, what happened? So she narrated the experience that they had to trail these guys here. That's my sister and her colleagues here, because they saw them driving like with speed and all that, so they trailed them here. So the story now is, Toby said on their way from Sedi Plaza, they passed that, there's a bridge after Sedi Plaza. Immediately they had a loud sound. So he thought it was his tires. And then he looked at his mirrors and the tire was okay. So immediately my sister was at the back and Arafat is in front. So he said my sister tapped him slowly and was making, like, doing like this, like she was gasping for air. So he was like, what's wrong with you, you know? And then she was like, she doesn't like, so he turned and then saw her holding, because she was shot under her breast. So he saw her, you know, holding her, and then he saw, like, the car, so he had on the light in the car, and then he saw blood all over her clothes. So that's how he knew that it was a gunshot. So he asked Arafat immediately, where's the nearest husband? They said it was Gariki. So on their way there, another, like, you know, like there's always a police checkpoint. So the ones I saw at the hospital, they were the ones that accosted them on their way and stopping them, and they didn't want to stop, of course, because it was an emergency. So they drove and those ones trailed them. So when they got there and saw that it was a gunshot, it was that woman, God bless her, that actually identified the person that shot my sister, because she was like, if it's immediately after Sedi Plaza, it has to be Inspector Benjamin Peters. So just to cut this long story short, Gariki Hospital, I said go get blood, she has lost a lot of blood. I'm like, okay, can you take my blood? We're same blood group. Like, we don't take blood from women. That's what they told me and Maureen, my neighbor, that night. I can never forget. I'm like, why don't you take blood from women? Can I even at least see my sister? They said she was at the emergency room. So, God.
It's okay.
All right.
Let us sit down. Let us sit down.
Sit down. You can sit down.
Jesus.
You can continue. Just summarize.
So they said she was at the emergency room. I couldn't see her. She just go get blood. So I left immediately with Maureen. This was about, I got there at like we drove, like we got there about to 5. And then I drove out to National Bank Blood Transfusion Center at Zone 4. I'm getting there, they said I should get, either I buy blood, I should get mail to donate blood. I'm like, why? So I didn't even want to ask for that. So I and Maureen drove out. They started calling me again to come back. Because I made on my way there, I started calling my male friends, please go to Gariki Hospital, see what happened. So they're like, come back, some of your friends are already here, we've taken blood from them, we are giving her blood. I'm like, let me just buy, it's never too much, just in case you guys say there's no more blood. So they were like, just come. So I knew something was wrong. So I turned back to the hospital, and when I got there, I saw some of my male friends, they actually took blood. So it wasn't even up to 5 minutes. My friend is here, Ada, she was with me at the hospital that day, she's a witness. It wasn't up to 5 minutes. They, you know, everybody's face was looking. They already knew my sister had gone, but they didn't want to tell me. So one of the nurses took me into her office. I'm like, when was the last time you saw your sister? I'm like, what are you saying? I live with my sister. I saw her last night. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we lost her. This was at 6:10 a.m. I can never forget. So, and that was it. They took us to, immediately we went to, there's this police service commission. That was where they took us. The first place they took us from that national hospital. They took me to lodge a complaint. They brought the Inspector Benjamin Peters. It was a roller coaster. The man that shot her, the DPO, that woman, made sure she brought him, like he was there. In fact, the pictures of Inspector Benjamin Peters right now on the internet, I was the one that took those, because I know that if I don't take those pictures, that was going to be the last time I was going to see that man. So I took pictures of him immediately when they were questioning him. He was like his own. I didn't even know, like the car, I have pictures of that car, you could see where the bullet penetrated, that they were flagging them down and they didn't stop. And they wanted to slash the tires. And then you shot at the car. You're flagging someone down and that's his own, sort of, I know nothing can be equated to human life, but I want my family to be compensated. We've been through a lot the past 2 years. I want my family to be I want to see my mom smile once again. I want my family to be compensated. That's all I want. And justice for my sister. I mean, she has so many dreams. So many dreams.